What's up guys, welcome back to this channel. Oh kush, groceries, we forgot the groceries. Yeah, really I think 20 would be enough, right?
Ooh, ice cream.
Ooh, ice cream. Done. Yay! Let's go. What's up guys, welcome back to this channel. This video is going to be a little bit different than the videos I've been uploading because this one's a sit down chatty kind of a video. I usually do not enjoy chatty videos, but I'll try to make it as quick as possible because I really wanted to do a video on this topic. We have so many misconceptions about people living abroad, and I myself had so many before I came here. So I've collected these myths and misconceptions from my comment section, from friends and family, from a quick Google search, and I also put it up on my Instagram as a question to ask people what misconceptions they have about people living abroad. So instead of calling them myths and misconceptions, because what's a misconception for me could be true to you, or what's a misconception to you could be true to me. So let's call it preconceptions and assumptions we have about people living overseas. Okay, so the first one is that it's easy or you'll get a good job and salary if you study abroad. I would say it's anything but easy. Culture shock is a huge thing. I discussed culture shock in one of my first videos. I'd say it's huge, but it's definitely temporary. In my opinion, on social media, it may come off as glamour and fun and adventurous, but it's constantly filled with stress and anxiety of the ever-changing immigration laws. Immigration laws change every other month, and especially with the pandemic, you cannot really say it's gonna guarantee you a good job and salary, because businesses and government would prefer the citizens first and then the permanent residents, and then comes people on a working visa, because tomorrow one law can change and anything can happen to your visa conditions. So no business wants to take the risk, and that's why they would prefer citizens, then permanent residents, and then people on visa condition. The second one is people who live abroad are addicted to cigarettes, alcohol, sex, weed. The short and sweet answer to this is no. I can say on behalf of Indian students who come abroad to study, they already have so much on their plate with a huge amount of money or loans spent on their education by the parents, so they do not usually take that route. None of the people that I have come across have usually taken the route of addiction to these things. Obviously everybody does one or the other things, but I don't think they get addicted to all these things because they have a much larger goal in front of them than just having fun and adventure. The people around me, I don't think anyone's addicted to these things. Everybody just uses one or two things casually, but I've never seen an Indian student who's addicted to any of these things. The next one is you're Indian and because of your culture, you'll get a lot of attention. This is interesting, and I have a funny story. A lot of people who go abroad do have this fantasy of dating someone from the other culture, but it's not always that easy. There's a huge communication gap between the two cultures, especially if you're coming from an entirely different culture as an Indian or Asian culture to a Western or Kiwi culture. I've hardly seen any couples around me like that. I don't think I've seen them, but I've heard of a few people. So, funny story. My fantasy when I was coming abroad was to just get a little bit attention from any cute guy in the class, or some guy asking me out and I can politely decline because I'm in a happy long distance relationship. So this guy, he wasn't my classmate, but he was my friend. Picture a skater guy with this long blonde curly hair. He wasn't the cutest or the smartest, but he was good looking, definitely. So he was my friend and he asked me out for a coffee. But we never met after that because I was very transparent about my long distance relationship. So that was as far as I got with the fantasy thing. The next one is I love different culture, new people, and different food. No, you don't. I mean, it's good to try that Chinese food down the street or some Greek food down the street, but it's all temporary. You're gonna come back to your rajma chawal at the end of the day. All I'm saying is it's good to try out different things, but sometimes people think that they're just gonna convert into the new culture. It doesn't usually happen. You feel most comfortable with the people in your own community who actually understand you and your culture, who come from the same background. But the new culture definitely influences you in your life. For example, a lot of people would argue that I eat a lot of white people food, but that is because, one, I hate making chapati. I can't make round chapatis. I can't make chapatis at all. I hate kneading the dough, so I don't do it. So that's one thing. Second thing is, you don't find your usual vegetables that you get in India here. Like, for example, eggplant. It's like $7-8 for one, or like ghee and these things. You don't usually get these things as easily or cheap here. You can only get these things, or bhindi even, you can only get these things from Indian supermarkets, and they're frozen as well. So I think they come for $2.50 to $3 for like 500 grams of bhindi. But yeah, so that's like a lot. But if you look closely, if I'm eating pasta, you bet it's not pasta sauce poured over boiled pasta with a little bit of oregano. It definitely consists of your usual tarka with spices in it. That's my pasta. That's how I love to eat pasta. So the thing is that you definitely do get influenced, but you do not entirely convert into the new culture unless I think you're born here. Okay, so the next one is patriotism. I have seen so many rude and inconsiderate comments on a lot of people's videos saying that they're bad and they're traitors because they left their country, which is so not true. Migration has been happening for so many centuries now. It's the same thing as someone leaving the small town or village and moving to bigger cities like Delhi or Mumbai. It's about the opportunities. Next one is racism. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't exist, because it does. But look at it this way, it can happen to anyone irrespective of the country that they're living in. India's fixation with fair skin, weight, and caste is part of the same problem. So it's not the country, it's the people. Some people are nice, some people are not. Okay, this one's good, and I think this one's going to be the last one. It's about money. Different things motivate people to keep living abroad, and money could be one of the factors. But I can assure you, money is not the only factor that keeps people living abroad. What people don't realize is the income to expense ratio is same in India or anywhere in the country. If you're earning in dollars, you're also spending in dollars. Honestly, I think if I were in India, I would definitely be living a more luxurious life than what I'm living here. So for me, it's definitely not the money, it's the equality. It's the zero judgment you get for the type of work you do. You could be the boss of the company, or you could be the cleaner of the company. Nobody's going to judge you for what type of work you're doing. It's the freedom of wearing shorts and crop top, and nobody's scanning you from top to bottom. And the most important factor that keeps me motivated to stay here in New Zealand is the freedom of taking a walk at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now it depends on where you live, the safety and the laws. Because of the Otago University, Dunedin is either full of young students or old people. It's really safe here. Back when I was living in Christchurch, I do remember that sometimes I had to finish up work at 1 or 2 a.m. And one time I remember, I think it was 12:30 a.m. and I was going back home, and there were a group of like 4 or 5 boys that were standing on the footpath just talking to each other. Two of the boys were sitting down on the curb, and there were like 3 boys that were standing next to him, and they were just talking and having fun. But I was quite scared to cross through that footpath. So the other option for me was to cross the road and use the other footpath, but the other footpath was next to a graveyard. So I decided to walk on the same footpath. But the thing that shocked me was not a single guy left the conversation or, put his head up to see who's walking by or a girl's walking by. I cannot say for all the places in New Zealand or all the places in Auckland, but I do not really feel safe in Auckland to leave the house after 10 p.m. But in Christchurch, it was pretty good. And Dunedin, it's like, and I have walked on the streets at 2 and 3 a.m. Don't ask me the reason why, but the only thing I'm scared of when I'm taking a walk at 2 or 3 a.m. is not anyone following me, but just the ghost. That is it. So that is all the preconception and assumptions I have come across and that I can relate to the most. You can comment below if you have any misconception about people living abroad. I'll try my best to answer you. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing because it really supports my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.